ark was 300 cubits, or about 150 feet long, and it had three decks. Now, the men in that day were good builders, and they were familiar with that type of construction. Therefore, Noah began to do what is sure, I'm sure, the population in his day considered to be a very foolish thing. I am of the opinion that the sightseeing buses ran a tour out to where he was building the boat, and I'm sure it was a popular tour. In fact, you can go up to Erlanger, to Willisburg, and Williamsburg. It's Williamsburg, I think, and see it here in Kentucky, a replica of the Ark. Ride a tour bus right up to it. And if you go on Google Maps, you can find where that I took a picture of everything, videos of the whole thing. So uh, I have often wondered what it was that brought Noah's three sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, back home. These boys, I'm sure, had moved away and started their own businesses. Perhaps Ham was a contractor or a successful builder himself down in Babel. Maybe one day he was meeting with the contractors convention here, where he heard a man tell about a trip he had made in the North Country. There was there he heard a man who was building a boat on dry ground. He felt it was really ridiculous, and everybody agreed, including Ham. But then Ham, knowing his dad lived up there and having heard some things about his dad, asked the man if he had seen the boat builder. The man said that he had seen the builder and that the builder's name was Noah. Ham probably turned white when he heard that. He stood up and said, "Listen, that's my father who is building that boat. I agree with you. It sounds foolish." I laughed as you laughed, but you don't know my dad. My dad walks in the fear of the living God. I've gotten away from that, but if my dad says a flood is coming, it's because God has caused him to give out a message of warning. You can just put it down that God has spoken to him and the flood is coming. And I was brought up in that home, and I know that I might cut corners, but my dad won't. My dad never told a lie. My dad lives for God. If you don't mind, I'm going to get my hammer and saw, and I'm going up there to help him build that boat. I think Shem and Japheth had similar experiences and went back home to help their dad. Why? Because the man Noah had a witness for God. My friend, I say this very candidly, and most importantly, important thing you can do is to witness to your own family, not by everlastingly giving them the gospel, but by living it before them and letting them see that you have a reality in life. This reminds me of an encounter that Gypsy Smith had when he was holding meetings in Dallas, Texas. A lady came up and told him that God had called her to preach. He felt the same way about women preachers as Uncle Cecil does. Now it says here, as I do, which means J. Vernon McGee feels that way too. And so he asked her if she was married. She said she was. He said, "How many children do you have?" She had 5 children. Isn't that wonderful? Gypsy told her. God has called you to preach, and He's already given you a congregation. May I say to you, whether you are a preacher or not, if you are a child of God and have a family, that is your congregation. God gave you that congregation. No one, his family. No one outside his family believed, but his family believed because they knew his witness. Noah prepared an ark to the saving of his house. What a wonderful thing that he was able to do that.